humane way of raising livestock, please give your attention to Brian Bowen.
Hello, how's everybody doing this evening? I really appreciate y'all having me here to talk about my farm in Live Oak. We raise a bunch of different animals on our farm. We have grass-fed beef, a raw milk dairy. We do forest-fed pigs, pastured poultry, egg layers, and broilers. And we don't focus on the meat production itself, but we focus on the soil health. If you don't have healthy soil, you're not going to have healthy plants, which then you're not going to have healthy animals, and then finally you're not going to have healthy humans. And if you have seen the obesity rates around the world up to date, it's just off the charts. And if you look at what causes that, yes, please, thank you very much. Is it on? I'm a farmer, not a techie. So where was I? Raising the pigs and having healthy soil. Obesity in our country especially is just off the charts. Before I got into farming, I was studying dietetics and nutrition at California State University, Long Beach. Yeah. And I started reading a lot of books about food production. What I wanted to do is, my goal and my mission was to help people live happy and healthy lives through the food that they eat. Well, what I learned in my program was that it was a very conventional program, and it wasn't aligning with the clients that I was working with as a personal trainer and seeing the results that they desired. And what I saw was they didn't have the healthy foods that they really needed to live healthy lives. So I took a hike out of the program and came to Florida to start farming. I started following Joel Salatin's farming methods out of Polyface Farm in Virginia, which we do rotational grazing for our cattle. We rotate our cows every day. Our pigs are rotated into different paddocks and glens every 2 to 10 days, depending on the size of the pigs. And what this does, it optimizes the health of the soil of the land, regenerates the growth there on the land, but also creates a very fine end product of the meat. Is this on? Oh, here we go. So like I said, what we focus on is holistic land management and animal stewardship. Those might seem foreign words to a lot of people. They did to me when I first found out about them. What that really means is, how can you take care of the soil as a person and then provide a very fine, high-quality end product in the long run? And what you do, it's like a magical choreography of moving the animals around the land to produce this awesome symbiotic relationship with nature and the animal. And with that, we focus on the health of our soils. That's the number one thing, like I mentioned earlier. And I'm not talking about just having your high nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. I'm talking about the soil microbes, the earthworms, the protozoas, all that stuff that work together with nutrient exchange to provide the roots systems of all the plants, whether it's trees or shrubs or vegetables, with the highest quality of nutrient and vitamin intake. Then the animals eat the plants, and we eat the animals. But the animals also provide a disturbance to the ground. With the cows, for example, we move them every day. They get about 10 acres of space. They get fresh green grass, no grains at all. And there's a fine line of what we want the cows to eat when grass age. There's what we call the baby grass. There is nursing home grass, and then there's the ice cream grass. And by moving the cows every day, you keep the grass growing in this ice cream stage, and the cows devour it. They get the highest quality nutrients from that grass. If it's too young, they're not getting the nutrients that they need, and the grass is stunted, so when you move the cows back, it's not going to be grown in the height that you want it. If you wait till it's a nursing home grass, and it's too coarse, there's not enough protein in the grass, so the cows have trouble digesting it in their fermentation tanks. With the pigs, I moved them through pines and oak forests to mimic the disturbance of buffalo 2,000 years ago. The buffalo moved in these gigantic herds across the Great Plains, across the country, and as they moved, they had this disturbance with their movement of the soil, which brought up and disturbed the organic matter and oxygenated all the nutrients and brought them up and created this regenerative growth that the Indians and all the inhabitants in that area were able to thrive for thousands and thousands of years until we started going to a conventional model towards the Industrial Revolution. So by mimicking that pattern with the pigs, once we move a group of pigs, we let that land heal for about 4 months, and then you get that disturbance and this regrowth comes back. And what I found is the pigs are getting about 50% of their food off the land than what we would be in a confinement situation where we have no sunlight. They would be getting fed grain all the time, and they look sick. I'm not going to lie. I've taken my pigs to the butcher shop and a USDA facility, and you see all the other pigs compared to mine. I literally have to force my pigs off the trailer onto the concrete floor because my pigs have never seen concrete before. They don't know what to do. And all the other pigs, they look sick and half dead. So it's pretty amazing to see what they can do. The chickens follow the cows about 2 to 3 days behind the cows to mimic that bird-herbivore relationship. Have you ever seen like a National Geographic documentary where you see the rhinoceros and there's like a bird on the rhinoceros, or like a wildebeest and there's like one of those egrets on the wildebeest? Well, there's birds with our cows every day, and they're debugging the cows or debugging the cow pats. And we bring in the chickens, the egg layers, to mimic that natural symbiotic pattern. The chickens scratch the cow pats from fly larvae, and they clean it out and spread it out, so they're fertilizing the pasture. So we don't use any other input, chemical fertilizers, nothing like that. So it's pretty cool to see the relationship, and it's just this, like I said, it's a big, huge dance around the farm with the animals. So at our farm, we're pretty, we are very lucky to have our farm and then the conventionals all around us. So when we give people tours, this is what they see. You go down the street and they see confinement chicken houses, and there's always signs, keep out. You ask for a tour, they will not give you one. You come to our farm, we have a 24-hour open door policy. Those are our chickens and our guard dogs. They get let out every day at 5 a.m. These are our egg layers that follow the cows, and they can free range. They can walk off and leave and go live a happy life somewhere else if they really wanted to, but they know they have a nice warm spot to lay their head at the end of the day, so they come back. This is an extensive land management system, so they're able to go away. They go about 200 yards from the eggmobile, and then we get eggs as a byproduct. So all we're doing for this is a pasture sanitation. Like I said earlier, that the chickens are used to clean the cow pats and spread them out. So it's a sanitation and fertilization program, and a byproduct is eggs. Some of the finest of it, actually. The quality of the soils really depends, or is really going to determine how your end product is going to be. Our pigs, on the right picture here, this is a fresh paddock. The plant that you see is called a wandering Jew. It's very proteinaceous. The pigs devour it once I move into a new spot. This is about 5 days into a paddock, and they have rooted up. That's the disturbance that we get, and they lay around. I call our farm hog heaven. The pigs do cartwheels and spin around when you walk up, and they eat acorns and all types of stuff. It's actually a sight to see. Down below is some of our cow pastures. You can see the tree rows, and then each one of those is a paddock, so they get one of those every day for fresh green grass. By moving the animals, like I said, you're feeding the organic matter. As the cows eat the grass, when they nip the tops of the grass off, the roots die off down below. So at that same level above the grass, as it's nipped off, that much is going to die off below the surface. So that's all the carbon is being saved right there on site. When you make hay, when farmers make hay and sell it around, they're taking all that organic matter off their farm and selling it somewhere else. That's depleting the topsoils of the farmland, not only in Florida, but across the country. Cows are the #1 solution to that problem. By rotating them, you're going to build the organic matter and fertilize at the same time. So if any of you studied the topsoil, the history of our topsoil in this country, we're at a very critical stage in our time. So it's important that we embrace these new technologies. And it's not really a new technology, but using something in the past that was used to benefit our future generations. So after we produce this food and focus on the soils, as a farmer, we have to go out and do our own marketing. So one of the, like tonight, we come out here and and do talks and try to educate and just get our face out there. I work with a couple local restaurants, actually two of the speakers here, Tyler Black and Chef Bolero, very good people. And by getting your food out to the public, you are getting more nutritious food out there. You're building healthy communities. You're connecting the farmer with the chefs and the end consumer. Tyler actually did some pop-up dinners where he had my food being featured. He brought me out, did a little talk with his customers. It was really neat to see the response of the consumers eating my pork and then get to ask me questions. I thought it was pretty awesome. But people don't know how their food is produced because it's an out of sight, out of mind mentality. Has anybody here go to a farm regularly or grown up on a farm? No? Yeah. I really encourage you to try to go to a farm and see how your food is being produced. In the last slide, in that keep out, the smell, they put 20,000 birds in one of those houses, and the smell is absolutely horrific. We get that south wind out and it almost knocks you out. With our animals, even our pigs, they don't stink. By moving them and keeping the soil healthy, you're keeping the animals healthy. You let the land regenerate and you have this awesome product. So how you can get involved with your food, know where your food's coming from, find a local farmer. There's a couple websites out there, localharvest.org and eatwild.com. Every state has listings of how you can find beyond organic produced food, and I really encourage you to try to get out there, get your hands dirty, and get involved. There's also, there's farmers out there. The average age of the farmer in the United States is 65. So that means there's no young people coming in and all these old people are trying to get out. So you have this problem. There's an age barrier. So if you're really interested in food and you want to get involved, call a farmer. It doesn't matter if it's conventional or not. You're getting on a farm and you're helping somebody out. That's going to set you up in the long run and give you experience. And it's going to help you determine which way you want to go. Do you want to go the conventional route or do you want to go the beyond organic route? When I started researching food, I started noticing red flags in people's health, and I wanted to make a difference. So to really make a difference as a dietitian, I can't do that if I'm not producing healthy food. So that's really the direction I went. Other than that, I really encourage you. There's a couple permaculture groups, the Alachua County Permaculture Guild, and I really encourage you to try that out too. They meet and they talk about the regenerative aspect, not of just agriculture, but of communities, of yourself, and everything else. So other than that, does anybody have any questions for me about healthy raised animals? Yes? We go to the Alachua County Farmers Market on 441 every other Saturday. We'll be there this Saturday. And we also deliver to Gainesville every week on Thursdays. So if you want to meet me after, I can give you my contact information and we can hook you up. Anything else?
Do you guys have a CSC program? I think that's what it's called.
A CSA?
CSA?
We do not do a CSA, but we do have a whole ordering co-op where you can put in, like if you want to order vegetables, we do some vegetables, but most of our stuff is meat and dairy.
Just a question. Do you guys plan on staying in Alachua County for a really long time? And if so, do you guys birth more animals and keep those going as well?
Well, for the pigs, it's a whole other operation at Faro to breed your own pigs. Right now, I'm feeding them out, so I have to buy my piglets from Faro's. Starting off about a year and a half ago, it was really hard. Whatever I could get my hands on, I would get, and I noticed that the piglets would go through like a detox period. It's like 1 month, and they came from really bad living situations. And so right now I'm creating a set of protocols that breeders can follow, that they follow my practices from conception all the way through to they're coming on my farm. So it's not a harsh transition for the pigs. For the cows, we've been working on our cow herd for about 9 years now. So what we have is a cross between a milking Devon and a Jersey. So we have it's a beautiful red cow. It's a dual purpose for meat and for milk.
Awesome.
Yep. Well, thank you for having me this evening, and I hope you enjoy your other speakers.